Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Mindset Podcast. I'm Jane. Today, I want to tell you a beautiful and emotional story. This story is about fear, dreams, confidence, and one girl who changed her life by learning English. Are you ready? Let's begin. Her name was Meera. She was 23 years old and lived in a small town with her parents. Meera was kind, hardworking, and intelligent. But she had one secret fear. She was afraid of speaking English. Every time someone spoke English near her, her heart started beating fast. She worried people would laugh at her mistakes. So whenever she heard English, she stayed quiet, very quiet. One morning, Meera went to a job interview in the city. She wore her best blue dress and held her file tightly in her hands. Inside the office, many people were waiting. Some were talking confidently in English. Meera looked down at the floor. She felt small, very small. Then a woman called her name. Meera Sharma? Meera stood up slowly and walked into the interview room. 3 people sat at a large table. One man smiled and said, "Tell us about yourself." Meera opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her mind went blank. She forgot everything she practiced. Her hands started shaking. Finally, she whispered, "Sorry." Then she walked out of the room. Outside the building, tears filled her eyes. She sat alone at a bus stop and cried quietly. I am not good enough, she thought. Maybe I will never succeed. An old woman sitting nearby looked at her kindly. The woman asked, "Why are you crying, dear?" Meera wiped her tears and said, "I cannot speak English properly." The old woman smiled softly. "That's all?" Meera looked confused. The woman continued, "English is a skill, not magic. Skills can be learned." Meera stayed silent. Then the woman said something she would never forget. Do not be afraid of broken English. Broken English can become fluent English one day, but silent fear never changes. Those words stayed inside Meera's heart. That night, Meera made a decision. She would not run away anymore. She would learn English little by little, every day, no excuses. The next morning, she started listening to English podcasts while cooking breakfast. At first, she understood almost nothing. The words sounded too fast, too confusing. But she continued listening every day. Then she started speaking to herself in English. Simple sentences. I am making tea. I am cleaning my room. Today is hot. Small sentences became bigger sentences. And slowly, her confidence started growing. One evening, Meera discovered a podcast called English Mindset Podcast with Jane. Every night before sleeping, she listened carefully. Jane's voice was calm and encouraging. The podcast did not make English feel scary. It made English feel possible. For the first time in her life, Meera started enjoying the learning process. Months passed. Meera practiced every single day. Not perfectly, but consistently. Some days she felt confident. Some days she felt frustrated, but she never stopped. That was the difference. One day, while buying coffee at a cafe, the cashier asked her in English, "Would you like anything else?" Normally, Meera would panic, but this time she smiled and replied, "No, thank you." That's all. The sentence was simple, very simple, but to Meera, it felt like climbing a mountain. She walked home smiling the entire way. A year later, Meera applied for another job interview. This time, she walked into the room differently. Not without fear, but stronger than before. The interviewer smiled and asked, "Tell us about yourself." Meera took a deep breath. Then she began speaking. Slowly, clearly, confidently. She made a few mistakes, but she continued speaking. And this time, she did not stop. 2 days later, Meera received a phone call. "You got the job." She covered her mouth in shock. Tears filled her eyes again, but these tears were different. They were tears of happiness. That night, Meera looked at herself in the mirror and smiled. Not because her English was perfect, but because she was no longer afraid. And sometimes that is the biggest victory of all. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to English Mindset Podcast. And remember, fluent English does not come from perfection. It comes from courage, consistency, and believing in yourself. I'm Jane, and I'll see you in the next episode.